Alright, now we're really getting into some polynomial stuff. We're going to start finding the roots of polynomial equations. So for our first example, it says find the zeros of this function. Now, we can interchange a lot of words here. Zeros are the same thing as solutions, roots, x-intercepts. They all mean the same thing. So I'm going to use those words interchangeably. So we're going to use the zero product property. That means if you have a product of several factors and they set equal to 0, then if any one of those factors is equal to 0, it solves the equation. So if I had a equals 0, 0 times anything would still be 0. It doesn't matter what b and c are. So if any of the factors are equal to 0, it solves this problem. So for us, we have this function. We're trying to find the zeros, or x-intercepts, so it's setting that function equal to 0. Now if any of those factors, so x minus 2 is a factor here, if I set that equal to 0, it's going to solve the whole problem. Doesn't matter what x plus 1 or x plus 3 works out to be. So I do that. I get x equals 2. If I plug a 2 in here, 2 minus 2 is 0, and it doesn't matter that this works out to be a 3 and a 5, because 0 times anything is going to be 0. Similarly, we get x equals negative 1 and x equals negative 3. So those are our three solutions. If I plug in any one of those three numbers, it solves our equation. All right, one more example here. Also, since we're finding the x-intercepts, it does tell us something about the graph, which we'll use in a later lesson. So, next example, we're going to solve this. Now, this isn't set up quite as nice. We have to factor it. That's going to be our first step here. And then we're going to set each factor equal to 0. So, look for a greatest common factor first. Pull that out, or undistribute that. All right, now we factor by grouping. So split that middle term into a 6 and a 3. And that gives us this factored form. So we're setting that equal to 0 to solve this polynomial. X equals 0 is just x equals 0. So this one sometimes confuses people because there's like no work to do. But it's actually the easiest one. So now your try problems. You got to get 2 of these done. All right. Those are the 2 I expect to see next class. Have a great day.